Hi. I wanted to talk to you tonight because something happened this last week and I wanted to share with you and see what you were thinking about it. I know I told you that in July I might not be doing a class because I was working on the ebook for happiness that you'll all be receiving. The rough draft is done and it will be out this month for all of you. But I wanted this can be your July class anyway, because I did feel bad that you didn't have it, and we're almost on July. So, but what I want to talk to you about tonight is a philosophy of life. I had a young woman that came in and she lost a baby that was 3 months old. She lost this baby 4 years ago, and it died of a very painful disease, and she can't get moved past that. And I think as a mother, that's maybe always was one of my very worst fears is something happening to one of my children. And so I understand what she's saying, but it kind of comes down to the point that we tend to blame ourselves for things. And she was blaming herself for things like she lived too close to an electrical tower. Um, and she was sure to tell me that she didn't drink anything or she didn't do any drugs or any of these other things. And she had a healthy baby that was 2.5 now, and they were talking about having another child. But she would get sick really often, and we started to talk about what she thought. And one of the things that I told her is I think the more I think about it, there's only maybe four, maybe five different things that you can think about with this of what our philosophy of life is. We can believe that there's a God, but he's a vengeful God and he's out to get us, and if we don't do every little thing right, bad things are going to happen to us. So that's one philosophy, and a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that God, they forget about the whole New Testament God, and they go by all sorts of things that are in the Old Testament. And that's not a kind of God that I want to follow. I don't know about you. Or we can believe that there is a God that loves us, but it's just like a parent, and I can't see all the things that he can see. I can't see the big picture. That's a whole nother thing, and that he's going to take care of us, and he can see the big picture. That's a second choice. The third choice is that it could be everything is our fault, and it's kind of one of those things that you live and then you die. And I know a lot of people that think there's nothing after this and that it is only to live and then to die. But that also is kind of a limiting belief when you believe that everything is your fault or that you even had enough power to create everything. And another way of believing is that there is reincarnation. You can believe in that, and you can know that then you've chosen to be exactly where you are, that you're here to learn lessons, and when things happen, it's just part of what needs to be done. And even a little baby that comes and dies, or a child that you have that dies too young, all of that maybe is a part of the child's lesson. It may be what he has chosen. We don't know. We don't know, but that's the point. Nobody knows. Nobody knows which of these things are true. Nobody knows why we're here or what's going to happen next. We all can have different beliefs, and I like to believe that there is a God and this God is loving. I like that thought and it comforts me. But I don't know if it's a for sure thought. because of the fact that life just is. But we are here, and we might as well choose what makes us feel the best. What way can you grow and be your best? Because what they have found is that 50% of your happiness is your set point. It's the part that heredity plays. It's the part that if your family was happy or not happy, then you may be happy or not happy. That is one way. Then 10% is your circumstances. Whether you have money or you don't have money, whether you're ill and don't, whether you're married or you're not married, if you have children or you don't have children. All of those things are your circumstances, but it only is 10% of your happiness. The other 40% of your happiness is what you do. It's what you think about. It's the philosophy you choose. If you choose to believe that everything is your fault, or you blame everyone for things, you're not going to feel very good. So take the responsibility and choose something that makes you feel good so you can get on and feel better all the time. All of the things that you choose that make you happy are joy vibrations. And the vibrations, remember, we talked about the vibrations move us up this ladder of consciousness. And so we want to do that. Everything is just a thought. Cell phones, iPhones, just a thought. That's all it was. And then Steve Jobs and his engineers took that thought, that idea, and now 7 million of us are using a phone every day. It's something to think about. You know, you have something invisible that you draw to you. If you think about life and think of it as like a big bowl of ideas, all these ideas out there that maybe they're just there and they're just alive, and we reach in with our thoughts and we choose out of this mess of ideas what it is we choose to believe. Maybe we choose one of these and then we make that come true. What are you making come true? What is your purpose? What are you doing every day? What are you making that's helping the world? The raising the consciousness of the family. And you know, this is something that some people just have. It's as if magic is drawn to them. There's even a word for it in Spanish, and let me find that where I wrote it down. It's called duende, and it means something invisible that draws magic to you. What a wonderful thought. What a wonderful thought. If you have something in you that's drawing magic to you, wouldn't that be fun? We do. We do. And it's part of this energy because everything is just particles of energy. That's all it is. And we draw to us what we are thinking about. On the level of, if we're thinking joy, we're going to draw things of joy to us. If we're thinking that everything is against us, that's what we're going to draw to us. We need to be very careful with that. One time, a man said to me, Jane, it's just not true. You don't live in reality. Well, my thought was, of course, I live in reality. Everybody lives in reality. That's what reality is. And so when I told him that, he said, but it's not real. It's not the way the rest of us live. I said, no, it's not the way you live. There's many people that live the way I live, and there's many people that live the way you live. But you get to choose. And who's happier? Are you happier or I'm happier? So, well, you're happier, but it's not real. I said, but it is real. And why don't you come over to my side and live in this reality? So now, after many years, and I still know this man, and he has changed a great deal. And he said, "Well, it is happier when you think this way." And it is. But we have to do that. We have to realize that we only have 1,440 seconds, minutes in a day. That's all the minutes in a whole day. 1,440 minutes in a day. How are you going to use them? What are you going to believe in that time? And you have to let go of so many beliefs, things that you did believe. I see a lot of people that have illnesses, and they become rather irritated at the doctors because we've been brought up to believe that doctors have all the answers. They're the white knights that are going to come and save us. And we're going to say, we don't feel good. We go to the doctor. They give you this magical pill, and then you're better. And that's not the way it works. We have to change that belief. We have to believe that inside of us is something that can make us better. That's a belief that's got to change. We got to change the belief that ministers and priests and rabbis have all the answers, more than us. But written in your heart are the true answers for you. And each of us are different. Each of us are different because we see things in different ways. In the Journal of Neuroscience, people in a bad mood, their visual cortex does not process information. So if you're in a bad mood, your visual cortex is not going to process your vision. It's not going to process it right. And so what they have found is that happy people found 50% more of what they were looking for than unhappy people. I mean, things could be right in front of an unhappy person and they don't see it. Or a lot of times men don't see it. The one thing that I remember, and I don't know if it was who said it. It might have been Roseanne Barr. I'm not sure. It seems like many years ago in a stand-up comedy act, she talked about that women had uterine tracking devices. And my husband will say at times, I need your uterine tracking device. But since the 1970s, scientists have been doing studies to prove that we're all connected. They're working on this whole idea of happiness so much. And they want to prove that we're all connected, that there is a general consciousness out there, and that it has all the answers, and we can tap into that. We've known that in philosophy for many years. They want to prove it with science. And one of the things that they have worked with is back in the 50s, they had something called the 100th monkey theory. And what that was is they had monkeys on one island that they were watching, and they washed their sweet potato before they ate. And at that same time, after a number of monkeys did this, then on another island, monkeys started washing their sweet potatoes. And it's called the 100th monkey theory. And what it is the more people that start to believe something, all of a sudden it becomes true. More and more people believe it until it becomes part of our reality. What are we choosing to make part of our reality? That's something you want to think about. Because when you're happy, you see more. You see the beauty all around you. When you're grateful, you see more. We are all connected. We are all the same. We all want the same things. There was a man that drove up to a fast food um, restaurant, and he found out that somebody had paid for his coffee in the car ahead of him. Well, he paid for the coffee for the man behind him, and what happened, that that paying it forward went on for 4.5 hours, because they found out that when you do something nice for somebody, you feel good, and everybody that watches you feels good, and it just goes on and on. So if you want to be happy, change your reality. Choose the philosophy you want. Do you want to believe we're all connected? There's a lot of research out there saying we are, and it's called the field. Many people believe the field is really also the same thing as God. It's this loving energy. Whatever you're sending out there, it 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 resonates with other things. Just like electrical guitars have to be turned off if one guitar is playing, because the other guitars will start, because we resonate with the same vibrations. And the vibration that we deal with, that vibration we are sending out into the world. It's like the butterfly effect. The man that came up with the butterfly effect was laughed off the stage in the 60s. 10 years later, they have found that the butterfly effect was real, and they have now, it's the law of undetermined something. And what it means is what you're the particles that you are putting in motion with your thoughts are affecting everyone. The thought was, if a butterfly flaps its wings here, it can create a hurricane on the other side of the world. I think we're finding that with the internet. We are finding that thoughts are going everywhere, and it is changing the world. So really be conscious of what you're putting out there, what the philosophy is that you want. Um, there's a lot of people that really believed in these thoughts, and one of them was Edison and Ford, and a great deal of Rockefeller. And what they would do is 20 minutes a day, they would lay down and go into a self-hypnosis state for 20 minutes and wake up rested with new ideas, new thoughts. And what they felt is they were connecting to this unconscious wonder, this field of life that's everywhere, that everything is in there, and you just pick out what it is you're creating. Sometimes a way that you can raise the vibration so that you are connecting to more things, the kind of things that you want, is by saying the I ams. Start saying them to yourself. I am creative. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. I am a good wife. I'm a good mother. I am a good friend. Start and go through it. I am grateful that this is what I have in life. Because if we are grateful, it expands. It expands. Everything that we think about expands. What do you want to expand in your life? Think about it more and more. Reality is just a figment of our imagination. Imagination is the hard, wonderful piece of us. That's what makes us, we're so much like monkeys in so many ways. We have 99% of our DNA is the same. But the one part of us that is not like monkeys is our kindness, is our imagination. And even though they have kindness among their groups and imagination, we have generosity. We have the ability to make things happen, to come to create in a way that monkeys can't. Roger Bannister was a good sign of that when he decided that he was going to break the 4-minute mile. And he made one of his I am statements and put it in his shoe. And as soon as he did that, 13 more people broke it. You know, you think about there was a Vietnam veteran that had been at camp, and it was such a small cell that he was in that he couldn't move his body to pull his arm back. Now, what he had wanted to do with his life, but he was drafted, was he wanted to be a golfer. And he played on the high school golf team. That was it before he was drafted. Every day he played 27 holes, 50 holes, every day, as many as he could. He imagined it. He visualized it. When he got out, when he got home, he played that same golf course and had a perfect score. But he's not the only one. There's people that constantly are visualizing. The people that play sports. There's lists of them. Rodgers for the Packers. He visualizes every play before he plays. And a great deal of them come true. But we have to know what we want, and we start to picture it. I have a friend that sat at my table, and we were talking about what it is we wanted. And he wanted to go to Australia, and he said, I will manifest it by my birthday next year. And he has, because he knew what he wanted. That's the first step. You have to know what is it that you want in life, and then start doing your I ams to get it. We all need a project, a mission, something to capture our imagination, because imagination is the most important piece. We have to imagine and then do it with emotion, because that's what sets all those particles in movement. Vibrate at joy and gratitude, and weird things are going to start to happen. I promise. Things are going to walk up to you. You know, I'll tell you something that I manifested. I thought that I wanted to go to the Crane Foundation this year because I really like cranes. And we always have had cranes that we'll see down the road or flying over or something. Well, this year, Izzy and Ichabod Crane started coming to our bird feeders. And then they had 2 babies, and now they have 1 baby. So we have Isabel, we have Iggy, and we have Lily Crane. Well, they have become my pets. Ichabod, especially, the father of this group, is not at all afraid of me. So I am within 3 feet of this big, huge bird that follows me around my yard. And I talk my version of crane talk, and he talks back to me. Now, I probably don't have to go to the Crane Foundation because they have come to me. I asked for a feather. I wanted one of the brown feathers. And the next day, I found 2 feathers. When we're grateful, when we're in joy, we are going to be able to manifest things that we want in life. But you have to be grateful for what you already have. So when you're starting to think of what it is that you want, and then ask for a sign. Pope Francis, whenever he's sad or things aren't going quite his way, he asks for a sign and he always gets a white rose. Somewhere he'll see a white rose. I deal more with animals. They come to me and I will get a feather. The other day I was thinking about someone that I was going to be seeing, and I was thinking about them and thinking about them and what can I do to help them? What can I do to help them? And I looked down and there was a perfect blue jay feather. Blue jay feathers are blue jays are warriors. So I took her the feather. I really wanted it, but every time I thought about the feather, I would hear, "It's not for you. It's not for you." So I took it to this person, and she told me that she had been thinking about feathers just the day before. She said, "I was thinking about feathers the day before and how beautiful they are." The feather was hers. What is it that you are manifesting? And are your eyes open? Is your reality joy and gratitude? Gratitude for everything. It says in the Talmud that be grateful for everything, because inside every problem, there's this beautiful, wonderful hidden gem of, of goodness. Look for that because it keeps your vibration up. When you start to make a list, rather than making a list of all the things you want and vision boards and all of those things, start to make a list of all the things you're grateful for and live in that gratitude and have your eyes wide open, always looking for the gifts that are coming to you. And they're constant. It can be a smile. It can be somebody saying something to you that's kind. It can be a sunset. It can be in the morning. I take early morning walks and I see a deer that's down at the end of my road almost every day, standing in the marsh, standing there looking like she's waiting for me, because I'll see her standing there and just pokes her head around the tree and the marsh grasses. It's everywhere, but what do we miss? We miss so much, because if we're not happy, our visual cortex is not processing the same way as a happy person. Remember, I told you about that study. Be happy so you can see all the gifts that are coming to you. Teach this to your children. Teach it to everyone you can. And choose the philosophy that you want in life and live by that, because that becomes your reality. Thank you for sharing with me tonight your time. And that's the greatest gift you could give. And the book will be out to you this month. Bye bye.